Hello everybody, we're going to look at some definitions in logic. With words, some funny words you have to memorize. It's like a jargon. So the very first one is a tautology. It's something that is true in all cases. Like if I say either it rains or it doesn't rain, well of course it's going to be true no matter what happens. Then we have the contradiction, which is going to be false in all cases, something that ends up with everything being false. Like it will rain and it will not rain. Impossible that both happen. And finally we have the covalent expressions, which we have already seen, which are essentially things that have that exactly the same things in the columns. They're just saying the same thing. In the implication P then Q, we have the converse, which basically we just switch the Q and the P around. The inverse, which we have put not in front. And actually, if you think for a moment and you look at what happens with the converse and the inverse and you build those truth tables, this is what you will actually see. And you will actually see them that they actually will give you exactly the same thing. You have the implication first and have the converse and the inverse. Hence, the converse and the inverse give exactly the same thing, hence they're equivalent. On the other hand, I have the contrapositive. P then Q. The contrapositive is the inverse and the converse combined. So not Q then not P. And we realize that's the same thing as the implication. Also want you to see for a minute logic with Venn diagrams. I think it ties the knot. It like shows us two things together. So P and Q with Venn diagrams have all situations where P is true, all situations where Q is true, and in the middle I have situations where P and Q happens. For P or Q, it's going to be when both of them happen, but important to look at P or Q, but not both. The middle is gone. And finally, let's do an exercise which is very typical, perhaps. It asks us to prove that statements are tautology, and how we're going to do it, we're going to build a truth table. So I put all the different combinations of A and B being true and false. So A is true, while B is true, A is true, while B is false, etc. And first I'm going to put A then B. Hence, I'm going to I just go to my formula booklet and I just fill it in. Simple as that. Now I'm going to write not B, and I'm also going to write not A, which is just going to be the opposite of whatever I have in column A. And now I can figure out what not B then not A is going to be by using my formula booklet. When first is false and second is false, it's true. When first is true, second was false, it's false, and so on. And finally, I'm just going to see if those two columns are the same. If they are the same, I put true. If they're different, I put false. And hence I get that they're all the same, that column and that column are the same. Hence, it's always the same value. It's always true, no matter what happens for A and B. Hence, it's a tautology. Thank you very much for your time, and see you next time. Goodbye.